Dan.
Done shopping, Dan?
Not really. I'm never done. Yeah. Because I keep seeing more, and I'm soft.
Well, that's a good reason.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
Apparently you're a legend, see?
You got into it?
Oh, I got into it with her. Yeah, she was getting mad and she was just not working out.
Z and Greg Lemmy.
Okay, we're on YouTube.
Great.
Yeah, let me hit record.
Recording in progress.
Welcome, members of the Township. The committee is returning back from executive session. This is the workshop and committee meeting for the Township of Chatham, December 16th, 2025. I now ask everyone to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. LeConte, could you kindly provide guidance for the first hearing of citizens?
Members of the public are now welcome to come up to the microphone to address the Township Committee. This is an opportunity for any member of the public to be heard about issues which are not topics scheduled for public hearings tonight. Those present may step up to the microphone to be heard. If you're watching via Zoom, you may speak during any of the public comment sessions by following the Zoom instructions to raise your hand. Whether in person or online, when you are recognized to speak, please mind the following procedures. Please say your name, spell your last name, and give the name of your street. You do not need to give your street number. All public comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Rather than use any of your time answering questions, the Township Committee will wait until you finish speaking before responding. There are 2 public comment sessions on tonight's agenda. Each member of the public will be limited to 1 comment of up to 3 minutes during each public comment period. Written comments submitted to the Township Clerk before 3 p.m. today will be read during the public comment sessions. Written comments are subject to the same guidelines as oral comments. Duplicative written comments may be summarized rather than read in full according to the guidelines issued by New Jersey Division of Local Government Services.
Thank you, Ms. LeConte. Are there any written statements this evening?
One person who had submitted written statements, but they're in our waiting room to speak for themselves since I'm having trouble talking.
Understood. Thank you. We have someone online then. Wonderful. Yes, please.
Yeah, Mrs. Warren, you're ready to go?
Great. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you just fine.
Great. Thank you. So my name is Katie Warren. My last name is Warren, and I live on Susan Drive. My comment relates to management of the Colony Pool for the upcoming 2026 summer season. First, as noted at the November 10th, 2025 meeting, complaints about the food vendor for the 2025 season were numerous. Among them, my family and guests experienced at least 3 incidents of raw chicken served at the concession stand, which is unacceptable. The vendor showed a clear pattern of irresponsibility under its obligation to serve food safely. The township should exercise its rights under the Colony Pool Concession Agreement, Section 3J, and terminate the agreement before the 2026 season. Second, I was disappointed with the management team chosen for 2025. I personally witnessed and heard from others who witnessed the manager berating teenage employees. This was not in situations where urgency might justify it, such as a swimmer in danger. I also saw unsanitary conditions, including toilet brushes left on the bathroom floors instead of being stored in proper receptacles. My impression was that the manager did not care or was not equipped for the role. This contrasted sharply with the excellent management team of 2024, when Colony felt like a treasured, peaceful haven every day. My goal is not to assign blame, but to express hope that efforts will ensure that, in Ms. Ewald's words, at the November 10th meeting, the pool opens in tip-top shape in 2026 after the time and money expended on necessary reconstruction of the walls. Thank you to the committee members, township employees, and volunteers for the efforts devoted to this cherished community resource. Not all residents of Chatham Township own beach houses or vacation homes. On any beautiful weekend, Colony is filled with community members of all ages enjoying the shade trees, sandy beach, lawn, picnic areas, and each other. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Warren. I appreciate your sharing your observations and comments. I do know that the committee and our staff at Myersville are fully aware of the feedback that we've all received through the survey and through other channels. And I can share with you that we're exploring all options to certainly ensure that 2026 season does start off on the right foot. So rest assured that we are investing material time on that matter. But Ms. Warren, I do want to thank you again for sharing that. Is there anyone else, Mr. LeConte? Great, thank you. I now invite anyone in the audience to come before the microphone should they desire to do so.
Good evening. My name is Stuart Carr, C-A-R-R, from 3 Crestwood Drive in Chatham Township. Number one, happy holidays to everyone. Number two, congratulations to Committeewoman Ewald and Mayor Choi on the re-election. And thanks again to Mr. Rubino and his colleague on the Republican side for their efforts in the election, because if you don't have a competitive election, you don't really get a good result. So I think everybody wins by having that. So good for everybody in that process. But again, congrats to you folks. 6 items. What do we have, 3 minutes? Times 2? Okay. Okay, all right, we'll start. 2.5 minutes. Number one, periodic request on the Oak Knoll School. That's, I think, a Mr. Shahadi question. Are we getting use with our recreation folks with respect to Oak Knoll? Are we getting any pushback from Oak Knoll? Are they letting you use the field? So that's kind of question number one. Question number two, with respect to the planning board. Have we had any further discussions about getting planning board into this YouTube activity and getting their minutes transcribed, et cetera, et cetera? I know we've had some pushback on that over time. I think, as I said in a planning board meeting several months ago, we should be having those meetings just like Chatham Borough and other towns, not that we follow Chatham Borough, but in this place we should be having planning board meetings recorded. And I think that would be a good thing. We now are in this room. We don't have the excuse of the small room. So if we can consider working with the planning board to get that done, that would be appreciated. Number three, the Green Village Trail Initiative. What's the status on that? Was curious about that. Again, I think lonely view is don't have a trail, just stay on Green Village Road, even if you have to pay for a sidewalk, because again, that's right next literally to the wilderness area, and that piece of property intact makes sense. If, again, as most people want to have a trail, I would argue strongly, if possible, to have a dirt trail, cinder trail, like we do at Great Swamp Outdoor Education Center, to at least have that, to have minimal imprint on the land there. So if we can give that some thought. Again, no asphalt, even pervious asphalt, if that's possible. Next question, with respect to incremental revenue from the Dixie-Dale activity. I think it's somewhere around $1 million a year, somewhere on there, fully loaded, roughly 50 units times 25 or 30,000 per unit. So somewhere around $1.25 million, $1.5 million incremental revenue over the last couple of years. Kind of where is that in the budget? How does that show up? Because most of that flows down to the municipal budget. So if we could speak to that a little bit. Bigger issue is the kind of bite the bullet on the sorry, I'm not thinking clearly, on the on the open space trust fund account. We have basically moved operations for the recreation activity over to that. We've essentially hijacked the open space, $600,000, $700,000 a year, primarily for operations. It used to be in operations, those recreation activities. Now we have those kind of activities largely in the open space fund, and therefore that $700,000 plus or minus 2 cents is largely funding operations. So if we can consider moving that back into the operating budget where it belongs, and then again biting the bullet and having the 2 cents to be used for acquisition of property and preservation of property. Okay, I got two more things. There's a second term, right? A second, okay. All right, thank you.
If there's anyone else that would like to come before the microphone, in the interest of expediency, Mr. Carr, if there are one or two more additional items, I certainly would like to invite you back up to the microphone,
Yes.
be able to share your concerns with us.
Conti, am I okay with 3 minutes here? Second round? Okay. Good, I appreciate that. In any case, with respect to the open space issue in general, this whole idea about basically using and hijacking, in my cynical view, hijacking most of the 2 cents into operations. Years ago, before many of you were here, except for Mr. McHugh, I believe, there was a referendum back in calendar 2002, 2001, somewhere around there, to basically get up to 2 cents. Not a problem. The problem with that vote was, where everybody voted yes, was part of that then expanded the use of those monies from acquisition and preservation to acquisition, preservation, and some kinds of routine CapEx and operations for maintenance of facilities. And that was the door that opened the activities that occurred a couple of years ago, or again, completely legal, to enable the 2 cents to be used primarily for operations. So I would argue, again, the public may want to do that, is to have a referendum or consider a referendum, be it non-binding, to say, going forward, we want to have the 2 cents, assuming that the board decides to, do the 2 cents each year, but have the vast majority, if not all of it, to be used for acquisition preservation, or have some kind of a carve-out, 10%, 20%, or whatever, for this operation stuff, as opposed to effectively 100% or close to what we're doing now. We've had a couple of exceptions over the last couple of years, thanks to Mr. Shahadi, with the negotiation of the property here on Southern Boulevard. So we use some of the money for that type of thing. But the vast majority of the money has effectively been in operations. I think we have a couple $100,000 now in reserve. But since we've done about $2.8 million or so over the last 4 years, there's not a whole lot shown for open space acquisition, preservation purposes going forward. So perhaps memorializing or formalizing that idea of most of the money goes for preservation would be a good thing. And I think that's where I am at the moment. Yes. So thank you all for your time. Once again, happy holidays. Congratulations to Committeewoman Ewald and Mayor Choi on re-election. Thank you again.
Thank you, Mr. Carr. There was quite a bit there. So what I might suggest, if permitting, we'll certainly put our heads together and respond to each of the 7 or 8 items that you shared with us in an organized, thoughtful manner. Make sure our facts are accurate, and we'll get you some responses. Thank you, Mr. Carr. If there's no one else who would like to come before the microphone, I then will close the first hearing of citizens. We then will move on to the workshop session portion of this evening. First up is monthly reports. Mr. Shadi, how would you like to do this? Monthly reports as stated, or? Yeah.
So Mayor, we could start off, if, I didn't receive any questions on the monthly reports, I don't believe, that have been unanswered. We can go through,
I sent questions on, but I don't know if I got an answer yet.
on which one?
It was late, so it was yesterday.
Nope. On what matter?
So these same questions on, hold on.
I apologize, because I didn't get an email from you.
The fire trucks, I remember it was listed, I thought we had one from each fire
Oh.
department, and they were both listed.
Must have sat in your outbox. I'm sorry, I didn't get it. Unless, I would have responded to you, I apologize.
No, no,
I didn't see it.
Frustrated with myself if it's sitting in the mailbox.
Because this sometimes happens to me, so I apologize. I would not intentionally not respond to you, I apologize.
Well, I sent it in late, so I just, well, okay, so one of the questions, when I looked at the resolutions, because it was for the two fire trucks, there were.
Yeah, so I was gonna go over the resolution items after the report, like,
Okay.
yeah, so we're gonna do reports, the discussion, and then since it's a combined workshop meeting, before we get to it, I was gonna go over any of the items in the resolutions. But up to you if you wanna do that now or later.
That should be fine. I still can't find this email. Yeah, that's fine.
Anything on the report?
I did have a question on
Yeah.
the resolution, so do you want?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
I think we
save that.
should do
Yeah.
those separately.
Great.
All good on the reports then?
One question regarding a police memo
Yes.
from Chief Miller.
The
regarding
one that I
intersection,
sent on the
accident data,
intersection?
yeah.
Okay.
Are we at liberty to discuss that now, or
Yeah.
do we want
Up
to
to
see
you.
that? Okay.
Because there's no action on it right now. It was just, it was a supplemental, that was one of the questions I got from you by text, but, so I sent that memo from the chief.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if we were gonna have a formal discussion about that, but okay.
Up to you.
Well, I think it's important for the residents to
Yes,
know.
Yeah.
yeah. So as a matter of context for the residents and anyone else listening, what we'd like to spend a few minutes on with regard to a particular intersection within Township. This is River and Fairmont Ave. As a result of a year-long or so reconstruction project of a bridge nearby down further on River Road, there was vehicular traffic that was redirected through that particular intersection, causing a temporary increase in vehicular traffic volume. In anticipatory response to that, our police department and others had installed temporary lights in order to manage the anticipated elevated traffic volume.
Mayor, if I may, just
Yeah.
to clarify, we didn't install that
Oh,
light.
oh, right,
Please,
so,
yeah,
so
just
at the
wanted to-
direction of the chief, right, so.
It was more, it was through the,
With the
through
county,
Union County.
right.
It was
Yeah,
really,
my
because it was
apologies.
part of their project, and they wanted a detour through that, so they installed the light.
Yeah, and certainly involvement with the
Yes,
Township
yeah,
Police and Chief Miller in orchestrating that. Since the conclusion of the construction of the bridge, the temporary lights have since been removed. A concerted, growing concern was that with the recent removal of the temporary lights, that traffic patterns may be altered and drivers may have a misunderstanding of how to negotiate that intersection. So what we had commissioned our chief to do was to present to the committee just a overarching summary view of the activity there with regard to vehicular accidents. So the committees review this, and what I can share, I think most, if not all, statisticians would submit to you that there's no appreciable delineation from what historically has been reported accident at that particular intersection. There is some movement here and there, but as I said, I think statistically insignificant. Notwithstanding, I think all of us here would love to see those numbers go to zero as a matter of being passionate human beings. Unfortunately, I think the metrics and standards that are used by the DOT and other jurisdictional bodies as far as making decisions on traffic management systems, they make decisions on different metrics and standards ultimately. So with that said, know that we are aware of what the happenings there at that particular intersection. We're working with Chief Miller and others, and we'll certainly look at putting in consider putting in appropriate measures there that would be reasonable and effective. If there's anyone else on the committee would like to share anything else?
Can I offer a little more, I don't know if you want to keep it a little more of an overview, or if you.
Please, I think it's for the benefit of the public.
Yeah, that's why I did want to, so to recap, because some folks from the public who were following our meetings might not recall, the governing body did ask that prior to the light, we review the issue. So we did over the summer, actually from the spring into the summer, start looking into this issue to get ahead of it. And that's when we had our engineer with our police department look at the statistics at that intersection. We have to follow on roads in New Jersey the manual on uniform traffic control devices, and that stipulates when traffic lights can be installed, when speed bumps can be installed, where stop signs are appropriate. Everything that you see on roads in New Jersey really are compliant, or should be compliant with the manual on uniform traffic control. So our engineer and our police department looked at that intersection with an eye towards compliance and anticipating that the light was eventually coming off and people had concerns. So we looked at the data, and the data really did not support a traffic light based on the reported accidents over the last number of years. So in 21, 22, 23, 24, we have not had more than 2 accidents per year at that intersection. Then they look at the nature of those accidents. What kind of accidents? Are they rear-end accidents? Are they T-bone accidents? All of those things get looked into. And so Mr. Rushke had reported at one previous meeting where he looked at all the criteria for traffic control devices there, what qualifies, and we didn't feel that it qualified, met the criteria for a traffic light. But we did identify that there are improvements that could be made, and that the data could change and support that in the future. So we committed to continuing to analyze and study and look at that intersection. So when the light was there, coincidentally, there were 2 traffic accidents with the light as well. And then when the light came off, there were 4 accidents. So a lot of that could be attributed, or an argument could be made that that's just because of the change in traffic patterns. People had a light that were not used to a light, and now the light's gone, and then some people were used to a light and are not there. But really, it comes down to driver inattention. And almost in all of those cases, it was people not stopping when they should, rolling through the stop sign, or not paying attention and stopping in the middle of the intersection, not realizing. So, the circumstances really still do not lend themselves to a traffic light. But understanding that towards the end of the summer, early fall, we also received a proposal from our engineer to look at that, to survey that intersection and look at other improvements that can be made to improve visibility at that intersection. And as you may recall, I want to say in October, or just before in September, October, we authorized that contract to commission that study. So the survey has been conducted. Our engineer did put together a concept plan of what improvements would look like to realign the turning rate, to realign the center lines, to realign and improve the visibility down each side. So our engineer is working on those, and we are speaking or looking to speak with property owners in that area, and then we'll be coming back to the governing body with recommendations on how to proceed with those recommendations. So that's kind of just where we are right now. Sorry, Mayor, I hope I didn't take too much time.
No,
I just wanted to-
not at all. Again, I think it merited some discussion, some dialogue for the members of the public.
Z, is there a mechanism for residents who go through that intersection, residents that are familiar with that intersection, residents that live around that area? What's the resident access or willing or ability to provide input should they desire? Because we want the residents to have that input, and matched obviously in balance with the engineer's report. Removing the white line that causes people to slow down and stop because of the light. If we could just establish, who would the residents contact
Sure.
if they want to provide input?
On anything, unless you want a different point of contact, they can always contact me. I will collect and relay that information. I can be emailed at administrator@chathamtownship.org. My contact information is on the website. I make sure that, whoever needs to get that, whether it's the engineer, whether it's the police chief, both of them, or if any of it needs to go to you, they can contact me at any time. So if there's feedback on that, because we did over the course of the last year or two with the light, get a lot of, and I did get some of those emails. Some of them went directly to you and you copied them to me, but we got a lot of comments on people who want a light and people who do not want a light. So we are taking all of that into consideration and welcome that feedback.
Thanks for that overview. I think the other, it was really helpful. I think the report that we received was really helpful as well too. So thanks for communicating all that. And just to underline the point that you made is that there were accidents with a light and there were accidents without the light. And it's really easy for everybody to jump to conclusion. Social media happens to be the forum for which everybody likes to talk and provide their opinion, but the correct method is to contact us and to contact the administrator in order to, and know that we are aware of it and know that we are working on it.
So I would just ask a couple things, and just want to clarify something. So I guess in the what the chief had provided us, the thing that was more important to me, it wasn't so much the volume, because the volume was consistent, but it's for a shorter time. So it's when you extrapolate, which hopefully we don't have any more accidents, but I think that's more so the concern, and of course it's right after everybody got accustomed to the light. Now the light's not there, so there's some of that. It was more so that there was no real there was no indicator, there was no trend to indicate, you know, any particular thing other than driver inattentiveness. So completely understood that. I really want to make sure that our engineer, we accelerate, you know, that process because it's a problem there. He did indicate that the traffic officer is working with Union County to get those stripes removed, so that'll be helpful. But I can't help but wonder, you know, if there's something we can do, you know, on the Fairmount Central. I know we have the flashing signs, but, you know, I hate the idea of striping, but I hate worse the idea of these horrible accidents, and they just seem to be getting even worse. So whether or not it's some striping on the, you know, on Fairmount and on Central to make sure people stop at that light, but I want to kind of think of some other creative options, and I didn't have a chance yet after the chief had sent us this to get back to him, but I really want to, you know, think about other ways, and certainly to ask our engineer to accelerate, you know, the recommendations of the whole process so we can put some measures in place. Thank you.
Wonderful. Great. So the next item on the workshop portion for this evening is New Jersey Senate Bill 2347, having to do with accessory dwelling units. And I thought this was a particular bill worthy of providing some notification to members of the committee as well as the township citizens at large for a couple of reasons. One, we've been tackling with some of these types of issues tangentially and directly at the planning board when it comes to accessory dwelling units, accessory units, pardon. And part of the spirit of this is in advocacy of affordable housing as well. So essentially 2347 is a bill that's providing some on pathways for encouraging and regulating the development of accessory dwelling units, and they're defined to be upwards of up to 800 square feet attached or unattached and they would be exempt from pre-existing zoning provisions. There are a number of towns that have embraced it, others have not. As I mentioned earlier, I think the provision provides for up to 800 square feet. Building height is as comparable to that of the primary structure. And they would be subject to the same setback guidelines for front, rear, and side. And the side for a number of our zones in the township are 5 feet. So ultimately, you know, it's a bill that's trying to provide pathways for expanding housing options throughout the state. It provides some flexibility. There is some contextual dialogue where this is a situation for, you know, a primary homeowner who is bringing in an elderly parent to live with them. There's some dialogue on having that as a distinct and separate renter, again, in the context of affordable housing. So this was something that had come across my desk. I thought it had enough merit to proffer it up to the committee and share it with the public at large. So I now offer, you know, I sort of open up to members of the committee if there's any, if they want to engage in any further dialogue on it. There is no formal action that's intending to be taken on this particular matter other than just sharing it during the workshop session, unless it's a direction that, another direction that the committee would like to go. But again, proffering up for potential discussion.
Has the planning board discussed this yet?
No, not accessory dwelling units.
Okay.
There have been prior and on again, off again extensive dialogue on garages, accessory
Yes.
units, and that has there's quite a bit of history there, just alone
Yes.
on the planning board. So, yeah, there's a lot of opinions on it. But short answer is no.
Okay.
Yeah, but the discussion, the planning board, specifically when they talked about supplemental
Yes.
units on a property, were very specific about not allowing,
Yes.
you know, sewer hookup or plumbing or anything of that nature. So They were not looking to do that. My understanding is that when I kind of read through, and I don't know if I had a recent version or not, but was that it would require the town within 60 days to come up with ordinances or around accessory dwelling units, and we would be prohibited from doing certain things. So when you talk about, grandparent or something, you couldn't limit who had access to it, or there were certain things that would prohibit us from doing. But I think from a zoning perspective, maybe I misunderstood it, but it seemed like if you said it had to be a half an acre property or an acre, I don't know. It seemed to have some ability to tailor it for the community. But again, it seems like this might be something that gets pushed through in a lame duck session.
Anyone else from the committee? Wonderful. So I think that was the last item for the workshop session.
Yes, Mayor, before going over any of the regular meeting agenda items, if you'd like me to start with that.
Great, so mayor's message.
No, Mayor, I'm
oh,
sorry,
sorry.
did you want me to go through, as part of our workshop, did you want me
Oh.
to go through the regular agenda items for any questions or discussions?
Yes, I'm sorry, I misheard.
problem. Yeah,
Yeah,
no
would love that.
So I'm just gonna, we'll just go down, if you could just let me know if you've got questions on any of these, I'll flag them and then we'll go back to them. Anything on the ordinance? No? Resolutions, 2019, 219, 220 are pretty routine. Any questions on 221, canceling balances and receivables? 222, the Teamsters Collective Bargaining Agreement. 223, the DPW employee. 224, the Telecom change order. 225, the Green Village Fire Department change order for apparatus.
Actually, I have a question on that, if you don't
On
mind.
225,
Actually, I'll group them, 225, 226, 227 for
Okay.
change orders on
Mhm.
various
Okay.
trucks. The Chatham Township Fire Department, on their change order apparatus, it's very clear, it's all about safety, et cetera.
yes.
Do we have, other than the list of what those items are, was this the expected order of magnitude of the addition that we expected for the change order?
For Chatham Township?
No, for Green Village.
For Green Village, sorry.
Yes.
So, no, for Green Village, yes, that is, so if you recall, based off of when the capital for 2024, the funding, and then the
Yes.
estimates and the prices changes, this is that.
Within.
This is within that, correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions on that one? The Green Village Fire Department change order?
Yeah, well, and now I'm looking at it, maybe it was updated. The version I had, because I checked it, because they both said Chatham Township Fire Department.
Oh, did they?
When I first reviewed them, that's why I was confused, because I thought, I thought it was one fire truck for each.
Let me double check.
Yeah, so,
It is one for each, yes. So
whereas.
there is a typo actually in the recital.
Five.
In the recital, it says Chatham Township Fire Department, but that is for Green Village. So that is for the SUTFIN. That's the change order for the SUTFIN. And that's for Green Village. So 225 is for Green Village. And do you see that in one of the recitals? Yeah. But the rest of it is correct.
That's the second whereas?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that a friendly amendment? We'll just correct that? Okay. Was that the only question on that one?
Yeah, as long as the
Okay.
rest of them are right.
Yes.
Okay. Then I'm good.
225, okay. 226, any questions on that one? That's the Chatham Township Fire Department change order for the apparatus. That's based off of the recent changes from the federal government on safety standards. Okay. 227, any questions on that one? All right, 228, that's an annual item we do. for-
Actually, I do have a question on 228, and it's more just semantics.
Sure.
We're a township committee, not a town council. It's just the verbiage.
Yes,
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm going back to 227, sorry.
no problem.
Because, so 227, that was the extension of the fiber loop over to the Historical
Brick School's
Society.
house,
So that
yes.
was my other question. Were they aware of the, is this going to be in fitting with all the changes that were made, the exterior? Because they had that whole refurbishment of the exterior. Because it sounded like there's a box that's got to be put on the second.
They were I know, I believe they were consulted. I did ask our DPW director to let them know and consult with them. I haven't heard any objections, so it's done. It's already done.
Oh, it's,
Yeah, it was a one-day thing, it was done. Once I got the pretty much okay, it was done. But I know I told our DPW director to just coordinate with at least the Wellses and make them aware of what was gonna be done, what the work was. And
Okay.
I didn't hear any objections to it.
yeah, and
but
there's already a lot of stuff that's funneled into that building, so I'm sure they used an existing pathway
Yeah,
or.
I mean, it's a utility, so whether you're gonna do that, or, I mean, there's really very few options at times with where that goes, so
Okay.
it's been done.
Great, thank you.
Okay, 228, yeah, so we'll change it. That's a template that they get from the state, that are lying, so I think they just sent that over, but the clerk will change those. 229, if you're comfortable with it, we did not get the actual agreement yet.
That was my question on
That's a matter of
their
timing with the Board of Health over in Union Township. They just approved it last week. So we didn't get the final form of the agreement, but it's largely unchanged other than the rates. So we can wait until the January reorg meeting, when we have the agreement, or the resolution's written where it does still allow us to, pull that back if there's anything objectionable to it. But it's largely the same exact contract as the year before, just with the change of the fee.
Okay. So clearly then we've received affirmation from
Yes.
Union that.
Yeah, they responded today to let us know that their attorney should be sending it soon, but they just approved it at their Board of Health. Because this not only requires your approval and their governing body approval, but also the respective Boards of Health approval to ratify it. So it's 4 parties voting on this. Do you want to move
Great.
ahead with it, or push that off?
No, that was my question, so I wanted to get an update. I knew that we had reached out a considerable time ago and did not
Yeah.
hear back, so I wanted to understand the full context on, under which we're passing this resolution, if we've gotten affirmation of whether or
Yes.
not we got the agreement. Okay.
Right.
Excellent. Thank you, Z.
Sure. 230, any questions on 230? That is a previously budgeted capital expense. 231, fairly routine item. 232, that one, there's a change in the price. It's actually 3,900 instead of 4,900. There was I believe, an updated agreement that was sent out. Yeah, so, I don't know if.
Yeah, no, I
I
think
think
with the
maybe-
passage of this, it's very exciting. I think the expectation is that, not to set deadlines or anything, but they move pretty quickly. If we move quickly, ballpark 8 weeks or less, then we'll be seeing a prototype of the mobile app, which is what this resolution is about.
Yep.
So.
With regard to the terms of the agreement, Committeeman, is any of it negotiable, or is it just a boilerplate? A particular
we did-
concern
we
was
did
the annual 7%.
We did negotiate some of it
That compelled.
initially, and we actually locked them into a rate for more than a one-year term, because anytime you're on a proprietary platform is my biggest concern, that they hook you in and then they're gonna
Yeah,
double
you're-
the price. So we actually locked in the rate for at least 2 years, possibly. Actually, they gave us a 3-year term. So that kind of helps dramatically.
Yeah, the company was actually very flexible on making revisions to the agreement pretty quickly and turning it around, so.
Great. Well, thank you, Z, and
Yeah.
Committeeman.
So just to be clear, so the 4,900 is now
We
39?
revised that, yeah. Greg, I believe,
Right, changed.
sent out an updated
Okay.
version this afternoon, or?
Yeah, There
yeah,
was
with
there
the-
was an additional charge for basically cellular service alert notification, which we're not needing. It's just through in-app notifications, which is part of the package. So we can eliminate that extra cost.
The other thing I had a question about was they had a December 1st start in the draft of the agreement, and it's.
They fixed it, yeah.
Yeah,
They
okay,
fixed
great.
that, yeah.
Good.
233, that is the mobile video recorders, essentially the camera system, the body-worn camera system for the police department. That was a capital budget expense. This is the actual execution of that. Any questions there? And then finally, 234, SLEO agreement. As you know, we are in an agreement with the school district to provide SLEOs, the special law enforcement officers, to them. They reimburse us for that expense because the SLEOs are our employees as members of the police department. So every time we want to update their pay rate, we have to enter into we have to revise that agreement with them. So that's what this resolution does. It revises that agreement for the new rate of pay for the SLEOs. Any questions there? That covers anything else on the agenda items? Okay. that appears not. Then Mayor,
Wonderful.
that I think should conclude our workshop session.
Thank you, Mr. Shoddy. So on to the regular meeting portion for this evening. This year has been a year of genuine progress for Chatham Township, and I'm proud of what we've accomplished. We've updated core ordinances for salary ranges and regulating unsolicited printed material, modernized our departmental fee schedule, amended our flood hazard ordinance, and enhanced personnel across departments. We deepened our shared services partnerships, approving agreements with Harding Township, the Joint Municipal Court, Union Health Department, and the Morris County MCMUA. All of this, of course, enables the township to leverage fixed costs to deliver efficient services through multi-party cooperation. We also took on major capital improvements, newly paved roads on Delwood, Overlook, Old Farm, and Britton Road, improvements to Pine Street, improved drainage at Hillside Trail and Fairmount Ave, the start of safe routes to school improvements, and major investments to our recreation spaces, like upgrades to our Colony tennis courts, reconstruction of Colony Pool, and the installation of a new playground at Nash Field. ADA improvements at Astronay, design finalization of the Green Village Connector Trail, as well as investments in turbine pumps and other system-critical equipment, behind-the-scenes work at our water pollution control plant that keeps our town running smoothly every day. An underpinning to a strong community is public safety. The promise of safe streets, pleasant and safe living can only come about through vigilant, friendly police, swift fire protection, and caring emergency service. As such, we took action time and time again this year to properly equip our service professionals with automated license plate reading technology, police radios and vehicles, our volunteer firefighters with key apparatus upgrades, and other critical equipment. We made vital commitments to ensure their stuff is compliant, safe, and effective, so in turn, they can keep all of us safe. The fourth round of affordable housing is the next installation every municipality must negotiate. I am proud of the work of the Affordable Housing Subcommittee and this committee in effecting a plan which smartly challenged the state's preliminary figures, notched a win for the township in appeal, and passed a fair share housing element plan which complies with the state, keeps our green space largely untouched, and allows for reasonable development in keeping with our community. Financially, we stayed disciplined, adopting a responsible budget, completing the annual audit, securing grants for recreation, recycling, and environmental initiatives, and updating our capital and bond ordinances to keep long-term projects moving forward. Our township financials are comfortably leveraged, revenue stable, overall, a clean bill of health. And through it all, we can continue to invest in what I believe is a precious resource, our people. There are new appointments in our WPC plant, administration, police, DPW, as well as many of our volunteer boards. So thank you. Thank you to our staff, professionals, volunteers, and township citizens. Everything we achieved this year, every ordinance, every improvement, every investment, was driven by shared commitment to keeping Chatham Township moving forward. And the best part is, we're just getting started. As I look up on the dais, I'm pleased to see caring, seasoned committee members, and I see stability and leadership for the next couple of years. I like to think we can accomplish even more for our residents in 2026 and beyond. Thank you. And now on to Township Committee reports, if I may start with Committeeman McHugh.
You may, Mayor. Thank you. We'll start with the library. A couple notes. dust off those that you have read and get ready to part with them come January. The Friends will be collecting materials for their annual book sale starting Saturday, January 10th through February 8th. So that month of January is when to bring the books for the book sale. There's also a new residence reception, and that'll be held Friday, January 16, from 3:30 to 4:30 for families at the library. And finally, there will be a blood drive at the library for those who can put out their arms on December 22nd. So please register for that. As far as other commissions, not a lot of report other than to say we are getting to the end of the year, and that means there'll be a reorg come January. And anybody out there that wants to get involved, please do be in touch what your interest may be, whether it be the Environmental Commission or other boards and commissions. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Committeeman McHugh. Committeewoman Ewald.
Thank you. I wanted to thank the events committee for a wonderful Winter Wonderland event. It was well attended with hot cocoa and cookies were being given out, horse-drawn carriage rides, cool gingerbread house, themed obstacle course, and more. I also wanted to thank the Chatham Township and Green Village Fire Departments, the administrator and his staff, and the DPW for all their work making the event special for our community. We had a joint municipal court meeting today, and it's a reminder of how successful that arrangement has been. Aside from the fact that the municipal court gets kind of rave reviews across the board, it just from a financial perspective, they've been running very efficiently, and the revenue that's generated is helping to offset the cost of that, service that we have to provide. So really is worked out very well. And then I just want to make residents aware that the senior center is closed starting this Saturday for the holidays, and they will reopen on January 5th. When you're thinking about your year-end donations, please consider our not-for-profits that support our communities every day, including our senior center, our Green Village, and our Chatham Township Fire Departments. And otherwise, tonight is the third night of Hanukkah, so I'd like to wish everybody a happy Hanukkah.
Thank you, Committeewoman. Deputy Mayor Rowland.
I don't really have any committee updates or any updates, but I did want to say a thank you to Mayor Mike Choi. I just want to say a few words of thanks for all that Mayor Choi has done for the township over the past year in his role as mayor. Because of the nature of our government structure, the committee structure, many residents may not typically know who our mayor is at any given time, much less have an appreciation for the myriad of actions that go on behind the scenes in order to make our community better. But Mayor Mike is always calm, always smiling, always asking thoughtful and intentional questions in order to get to a solution, and friendly to all. He takes the time to listen to residents, really hear them when they have something to discuss with him. I have witnessed it firsthand everywhere from bagging groceries at the ShopRite to library events and everything in between. He goes out of his way to say hello. His invaluable professional experience has served us well in planning affordable housing, open space, among other areas, and we are really lucky to have him for another 3 years on the committee. One thing I really appreciate as I look back over Mike's term as mayor is his weekly mayor's message. Always giving you something to think about, providing valuable insight into what is happening around town, and in support of the community. He highlights things that our young people have accomplished and important initiatives around town. So thank you, Mayor, for your civil service and not your self-service.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart, Deputy Mayor Rowland. Appreciate those words, very kind.
I have to follow that, is that correct? Bro, hold
You're
on,
up,
I've got my
Committeeman.
thank yous. Yeah, so just a few things. The local emergency management council met on December 2nd and approved the emergency operations plan, which went to the Morris County Office of Emergency Management and was approved. So nice to know that the police, Green Village Fire Department, Chatham Emergency Squad, Chatham Township Fire Department, and all subsidies were together aligned with the emergency operation plan, and that was approved, which is great. On the police side, I know they made announcements on their social media, but I wanted to shout out to Sergeant Scott Herchick and Sergeant Anthony Laporto, who both trained diligently and received excellence in leadership training throughout 3 different intensive programs, and they passed with flying colors. And also, in case you missed it, 3 officers in particular de-escalated a very severe situation earlier this year and were awarded the Department Medal of Honor. So special shout out to Sergeant Michael Bloom, Officer Phil Massey, and Officer Brian McGrath for their heroism. I wanted to shout out to the DPW for clearing the road so quickly, which I was completely caught off guard with the snowstorm. The good thing that they were not. And also the Chatham Township Fire Department is still, I believe, selling their Christmas trees, but they also put out a plea that if anybody local in town is a needy family that is in want or need of a tree, they're happy to donate whatever they have left. So please get in touch with them if you know a family in need that may be too afraid to ask for themselves, something to give to those in need. And the Joint Rec Committee met on December 3rd as well, too, with all of the sports updates and the reports and the plans for the spring ahead. They did say that the women's volleyball team, the pickup team, is not much of a team these days, and they're always looking for new members. So please get in touch with the rec department if anybody is interested in playing women's volleyball. You should be a female in order to do that. That's all I've got.
Thank you, Committeeman Alperowitz. Committeewoman Ewald did mention the Township Winter Wonderland Festival, which just occurred, and I would like to just personally thank the events committee, Melissa, Kalpana, and Shirley. You know who you are. Your dedication, your tireless volunteerism does not go unnoticed, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for making it a spectacular event. I need only look around and look at the children's faces. I see a lot of them hopping around, skipping. Skipping is always a good sign. They're having fun, they're smiling, and braving the cold. So thank you to the events committee and the Key Club high schoolers who were bold enough to come out, log in some hours, and help out and make the event a success. And I must say, I think we've got probably the world's best Santa Claus. He's pretty top notch. And sometimes I really do love this job for moments like this. Celebrate Chatham youth. I'd like to recognize James Kosilniak. James is 12 years old. He's a 6th grader at Chatham Middle School, and he runs. But he doesn't just run. He runs, competes, and he wins. He was top 15 in the states to advance to the regionals some time ago, and he was top 15 in the regionals to make it to the nationals. Young James competed in the USATF, USA Track and Field National Junior Olympic competition for cross country in Shelby, Indiana. It occurred just this last Saturday, and I looked him up, and I believe he finished 67th in the entire country for his age group. So, young James, hats off to you. We commend you for your work, hard work, and dedication to the sport. We know you've got even brighter and more impressive successes and accomplishments ahead of you. So special recognition to James Kosilniak, Chatham Middle Schooler, one of our very own. And Melissa, if I mispronounced the name, 1,000 apologies. I didn't get a chance to chat directly, but yeah, nevertheless, I wanted to provide some special recognition for an outstanding young man. And with that, that's the conclusion of committee reports. Let me see here. So now on to the public hearing and final adoption of ordinances. We have a single ordinance on the docket this evening, Ordinance 2025-17, amending flood hazard ordinance. Given that we've had a workshop session earlier this evening, I'd like to, unless there's an objection, I'd like to see if there's a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-17, amending flood hazard ordinance. I'm sorry?
Public hearing.
Oh, yeah, my apologies. Yeah, so we'll do the public hearing for it. With that, go on to public hearing for ordinance 2025-17, amending flood hazard ordinance. Great. All right, so I now will close the public hearing for ordinance 2025-17. I now will seek a motion to adopt said ordinance 2025-17, amending flood hazard ordinance.
I move we adopt ordinance 2025-17, amending the flood hazard.
And I'll second that.
Ready for a vote?
Yes.
Mr. Alperowitz?
Yes.
Mrs. Ewald?
Yes.
Mr. McHugh?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Rowland?
Yes.
And Mayor Choi?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. LaConte. Now on to approval of consent agenda. Do I have a motion to adopt the consent agenda, resolutions 2025-219 through resolution 2025-234?
I make a motion to adopt resolution 2025-219 through 234.
Thank you, committee. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. LaConte?
Mr. Alperowitz?
Yes.
Mrs. Ewald?
Yes.
Mr. McHugh?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Rowland?
Yes.
And Mayor Choi?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. LaConte. We now move on to our second hearing of citizens. Mr. LaConte, do we have anyone online?
No hands raised.
Thank you. I now invite anyone in the audience to come before the microphone. Wonderful.
Hi, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. Two hats tonight. Dan Miller, it's coming. It's coming, Greg. I got it. I haven't forgotten.
You on your toes.
Not one bit. Dan Miller, Green Village Road, also Vice President of Green Village Fire Department. Fire Department hat, we appreciate your support and supporting us with our apparatus. It's all necessary and well used, and just for the public at large that's listening, we can always use volunteers. You see, I'm a little bald, I'm a little gray, so we need replacements. So all that's good. We also had our tree lighting, which was the first Sunday of the month. I believe that was the 7th, and that was a successful event for us as well. And we have our Chiefs dinner coming up. I think it's the 29th January. I'm sure invitations have gone out for you guys, and we look forward to seeing you there. And tonight we're having our in-house Christmas party, so when I get done here, I'm going to leave and go. Hopefully there's some food left. The other thing is, Mayor, you mentioned the 800 square foot with that. Is that the promotion of tiny houses? Is that what they were talking about there? If you could answer me on that. It kind of sounded like that's what it was. So that's the resident's hat. But anyways, thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Mr. Carr?
Hi, Stuart Carr, 3 Crestwood Drive in Chatham Township once again. Forgot to mention before, on the issue of the use of 2 cents and operating expenses for recreation in the open space account. I've got absolutely no issue whatsoever with the uses of funds. Whatever you want to do with the money, have at it. In other words, the administrator and chief financial officer, whomever, figuring out what to do with the money. That's the use of funds, no problem. My gripe is the source of funds. The funds from 2 cents should be going to, again, preservation and acquisition of open space. Raise our taxes to get Mr. Shahadi and Ms. King enough money to do all the operating expense items. The uses are fine. It's strictly a source. So let's not do the backdoor tax raise by raising the open space tax, and now we don't really have anything to do. It's really an operating item. So that's my concern, just to be clear. Uses are absolutely fine. Number two, the reason I got onto the issue with the planning board a minute ago, and I forgot about the thing with the Oak Knoll School, I went back and asked Mr. LeConte, or I looked in the website to find where the planning board minutes were so I could remember back in 2021 or 2020, whenever it was, when Mr. Choi was in a planning board meeting and we had it out with the Oak Knoll attorneys, okay? And I look on the website, and all I see is basically 3 years for Chatham Township Committee meeting minutes now, and I think 2 years for environmental and a couple of others, zoning board of adjustment and whatever else. And back in the prehistoric days, we used to have like 10 years or 15 years or whatever it was of library of prior minutes and notes on the website. Now we have 3 years, okay? And I had to call Mr. LeConte and say, and he asked me, you know, what do you want? I don't know what the heck I want. I got to go back and look at it, okay? So I think the whole idea of having this new platform and everything else is to increase visibility, increase transparency, keep Mr. LeConte from having to get phone calls from knuckleheads like me saying, where's this document? Oh, by the way, you have to fill out a form. He's got better things to do at this time. And I think, and this may be going back to the IT stuff, presumably there is a way, cost effectively, to basically make this into a library so we have this information and basically backfill all the notes in the shoe boxes in the basement or whatever from 1932 or whenever and get as much as we can, I'm not being facetious, get as much as we can into digital form so we have a library for somebody who may want to use it or see it or access it. Instead of having to basically do the pulling teeth, if it's an open record, you got to do an Open Public Records Act, et cetera, et cetera. So again, we got nailed with this new Open Public Records Act reform, and this sounds like just another way to basically say we want to very subtly cut out the public from ready access to information. I don't know whoever cares or ever wants that information or whatever else, but again, it should be made available to the public readily where we can access it. And now we have this terrific platform. Let's put stuff on it, and let's get the IT dimension covered. If it costs $80 gazillion, maybe so. But we want to make sure we understand what the cost and cost effectiveness of getting more information to the public in ready fashion so the public can use it and keep stuff off the desk of the administrator and CFO and clerk in a amount of time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carr. I see no one else come before the mic, so I will close the second hearing of citizens. We will have a continuation of our executive session. So at this time, I seek a motion to, is there a motion to go into
We need
executive
to
session?
announce we're going in to talk about contract negotiations, I believe.
You want to provide some guidelines?
Just the,
No action will be
No action will be
taken,
taken,
right.
and it is discussion on contract negotiations,
Can I-
which is a continuation of the item from our earlier executive session.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Shoddy.
And no action will be taken.
Correct.
Yes.
I move we go back into executive session.
I second that.
Thank you.
Let's see, Mr. Alperwitz? Mrs. Ewald?
Yes.
Mr. McHugh?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Rowland?
Yes.
Mayor Choi?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. LeConte. Now back in executive session.